everyone. Welcome back to the 52 weeks GovCon Basics series for subcontractors. I'm Akeisha Foster, your GovCon coach. And today we're talking about acquisition planning. You know, I want to dive into this because this is the most powerful but often overlooked area in government contracting. Now, what is acquisition planning? Acquisition planning is how the government decides what to buy, when, how, and from whom. Okay, but in plain English, I want to tell you what acquisition strategy is, because many times we get confused. So what it is, so for example, have you ever hired someone to fix something in your home, right? You are the person, right? Like you want to repair the roof, install a fence, or do some landscaping, whatever. But before you ever call a contractor, you usually do a bit of thinking first. Okay, so what you figured out, what needs to be done. Are we going to focus only on the roof, and are we going to do the fence? What are we going to do first? Okay, and then when you want it done, then how much you're willing to spend. So first step, planning exactly what the government does. Two, when you're getting ready to do something. So that's why I always tell them, I said, we move in, we're not really doing all of the things that needs to be done, because you got to understand the process, right? So what you're going to buy something, okay? And then if you want to win contracts, especially as a subcontractor or a small business, understanding planning step is how you save time and just stop chasing the wrong jobs, because it is important that you understand that. It helps agency, because acquisition planning for the agency, it helps the agency plan their budgets. It writes the requirements and then choose the best path, the acquisition path. And so what we do is show small business where acquisition planning fits into the GovCon buying process. Even subcontractors can benefit from knowing how to do this. Now, where does the planning fit in government contracting process, right? You got the requirement. We identified there was a requirement, right? We said, we need to get the roof done, or we need to get a fence done, or we need some landscaping service, or we need janitorial service. So that is the requirement identification. So if you're with the DHS, Department of Treasury, any of these different agencies, they all have identified, their customer has identified the need to purchase something. So once you've identified that you need to purchase something, that's where the planning, and we're talking about acquisition planning, where it fits in the process. So let's go back to that home example. Here's how it plays out. Okay, you realize now we said the roof is too much, or the roof is not ready, but let's move on to the fence. We need to get a new fence. Okay, so you start your planning. What kind of fence? Do you want a privacy fence? Do you, all those things. Do you want a gated fence? Do you want the chain link? Do you want, what is the main focus? Okay, and when you need it and how much you can afford. So if that's all goes into planning. You got to know the budget, how much we can do. Then you look for the contractors, okay, maybe get quotes. So what we're going to do, we're going to get some quotes so we can see who we're going to use. And then finally you choose someone and you hire them. And that's the government same way. That's why I keep I keep emphasizing this over and over again. So what I keep doing is, okay, how can I explain it better? How can I walk you through an example so you see exactly how it goes in government contracting? So this is how it works in government contract. They identify a need. They needed that service. Then they're going to do acquisition plan the same way you did it. Okay, what needs to be done, what happened, forth and so on. Okay, and how much is it going to cost? And what did the budget? So what is the budget? Can they do that? And so that they're figuring out their budget, their timelines, and what type of company they're going to hire. All right, because they're looking at all that. And then comes the market research, looking around to see who's out there, and then we have everything else. Okay, and then after all of that, they publish the opportunity. That's the solicitation. Then they're going to evaluate and so forth and so on. So that's why I always say you have to know the buying process. And then next, timing matters. A forecast is not a contract. So when you see it on the forecast, all it is, just like a homeowner might say, I'm thinking about getting a fence this spring. That's it. I'm thinking about getting that roof repaired. It's a signal. All it is telling you no, it's a signal. That doesn't mean they're ready to hire you today, but that means they will hire you in the future, pending the budget, pending the timeline, and it's all those things. And when they need it, when does the customer need it? So those are what a forecast is just that early signal. It's not a real bid yet. It's not an RFP or RFQ or anything of that nature, but it's a signal, let you know, hey, look into this. So that's why it's important. And by the time the actual RFP is posted, it's often too late to get noticed. So now you're trying to come. Now everybody else then did their pre-work, and so they're already going after this opportunity. So that's why it's important you understand the government cycle. Okay. And then what the government cycle is, the fiscal year. So Q1, October to December, fiscal year begins for federal. State is different. Okay. Then Q2, January to March, planning ramps up. Okay. So that's why I keep telling you, we have to start learning the things. Okay. When an agency put out a forecast, it's just saying heads up. And then these are the different quarters. They're telling you, okay, the budget year starts. Agencies want to use all of the leftover money from last year. They're trying to do all of that. Then, okay, so then you got January to March is the planning. This is when the planning picks up. Agencies are figuring out what they're going to buy. I mean, we do the same thing, rinse and repeat. In Q3, market research and solicitations, you see a lot of that. And then Q4 is when they do all that spending. But because of the administration change, all of that happened, things are a little bit changed, but it is still the same. So just always stay aware of that, even with administration change. All right, now acquisition planning versus the source selection. Okay, acquisition planning, the agency is getting ready, they're figuring it out, what they need, how much it's cost, and what kind of contractors to use. Okay, I should have put a space in there, but to use. And then your source selection, the agency is choosing who to hire. They're reviewing proposals, your pricing, and your past performance. So remember that. Think of it as that home project again. We're going to go back to that because I always want you to understand when I'm saying these words. That's why this series is just to give you the basics. And then once I've given you the basics, and then I'm going to take it to the next. I'm just going to keep going to the next step and then advancing, but I have to teach you the basics. And acquisition planning is when the homeowner is doing the research, budgeting, deciding if they want to hire a small local contractor or a big company. And then the source selection, all it is when they're picking the contractor, reading the proposals, and making the final choice. That is it. And most small business wait to choosing part. No, you got to start positioning yourself now so they know who you are, and they know when your proposal come through, they know who this company ABC is. ABC has been on time. They're always sending in their SSNs, the sources sought notices, or the RFQ. They're always on top of it. We are confident in their proposal, their pricing, and then they already proves that they have the past performance. So basically that's what that is. And then the tools and resources to help you get in early. Okay. These are the tools that keep you working smarter, not harder. Don't wait. Use those forecasts, the agency forecast. Think of it as like that shopping list before you go to the store. Okay. Let me go see what they got out here. They didn't put it all out. It's the government shopping list telling you, hey, these are the things that's coming up. Okay. And then the sources sought notice. Okay. Responding helps them know you exist because you keep responding. You keep responding to all the sources sought notices, and they know, okay, they there and they're going to be ready. So when we send out the opportunity, it's not crickets. Okay. Reach out to these small business offices. I know things are changing, but just stay abreast. Keep reaching out. And then the sam.gov, that's the official website where they're posted. But like I said, when they didn't hit already, people have already been doing this. They've been going to the industry days and all those things, and they probably have already built a relationship. So you are behind. And then the last thing, usaspending.gov and fpds.gov. These are sites where you can go. They've already been awarded, and this is great for finding teaming partners or looking at target agencies, what they've already purchased. So you always go to those websites so you can see what they've already purchased and you know where you fit, because that's what it's important when you're building first, especially when you're first getting started. All right, because I want to keep these videos short, so I'm going to stay on track. Now, tracking and responding to those planning signals. Watch those signals early. Agencies are they using those forecasts, those source of SALT notice, and those small business events. And then I always recommend use a spreadsheet to list. That way you can keep up with it and tracking. I've already started a video coming to you about the spreadsheet and how to put the spreadsheet together. So just make sure you subscribe to the channel so you'll see when I post that video, because I've been working hard to try to get you good content, valuable content that's going to help you to gain the traction you need in this competitive landscape. And I've read this wonderful book, and I have it on audiobook about I think it was Dr. Benjamin Hardy. I seen that episode on Dr. Myron Golden's talking about 10X and then who, not how you're doing things, because sometimes you don't know how to get the result. So you have to hire those people. And so that book was awesome, and I applied it, and that helped me to the spreadsheet that I had been working on, trying to get it out to you all, get it done quicker. You know, I had to learn that I don't know everything, and I have to hire my team as well. So don't wait. Okay. So that's why I went and got that book, and that I got a video coming out about that too. So just be looking out, and don't wait for the full RFP. Send a short intro emails capabilities when you're planning. So that's the forecast, the sources, SALT notice, and events. Make sure you're attending, and then set the reminders for follow-up. I'm telling you, have to set the reminders for follow-up. And then what the contracting officer are doing versus what you should be doing. All right. So we already know what the contracting officers do. They writing, planning the budget, asking who can do the work, meeting with small business, choosing the type of contract and strategy, and setting those down. You need to stay in your lane. Do what you're supposed to be doing. Research that agency's forecast and past contracts. Respond to those sources, SALT notice, and RFIs to get notice early so they can know every time you turn around, you sending in your sources, SALT notice. They know you're ready. You done sent those in. They've seen you. That is how you show up. You have to send those capabilities in, and so they can know you, and you branded your stuff. So every time they see it, it's coming in. Reach out to those agencies, small business offices, share your capabilities and success past performance examples, those case studies and all those, and track those key dates and follow up before the RFP drops. This is all teaching you have to do before the RFP drops. Too many times we're missing out. Okay. And then where subcontractors fit. Okay. Think of it like that home repair job. Imagine getting more work done on the house. Okay. You hire a general contractor. That is the prime. They want to renovate a kitchen. This time we're renovating the kitchen, but they don't have everything themselves. So they bring in an electrician, a plumber, a painter. Those are subcontractors. And in GovWay, it works the same way. Big company primes often call to do the work, but they have subcontracting plans, and they need sometimes the small business help. So, but the catch here is they choose the team during the planning phase, not the RFP drop. They've already built it. Y'all signed the teaming agreements, all those other NDAs and everything. They've been working on these things. The subcontractor provided some input for the proposal. So they've already done that. So do it before, okay? And then recap, understanding acquisition planning, make sure you track the forecast, engage early, and position, partner, and plan like a pro. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. And then please subscribe to my channel, like, share, and comment. All right, take care. See you in the next video. And until then, keep building, keep learning, and keep planning. All right, y'all, now take care.
how they say, get them dollars.
Yes.
Get that paper, all that. But you're doing it the right way.
Right.
Not everybody
Right.
Okay. And we trying to build the community.
What is your definition of success?
My definition is you're happy. Every morning you get up and you're like, oh, I can't wait to get in there on that computer, get my look, I'm ready and up. That was success for me.
Yeah.
Just being able to answer the phone, talk to my family, enjoy work, and get up just smiling and happy, you know.
Let's talk about the importance of having a coach. A coach challenges you, keeps you accountable, and helps you unlock your full potential. And as a GovCon coach, this is exactly what we do for our small business. We provide guidance, strategies, and support needed to navigate the complex world of government contract. And together is how you reach new heights. And the best athletes out there know this: the Simone Biles, the Shakira Richardsons, the Serena Williams. So if you feel like you are ready to take it to the next height, join the group coaching program. Take care now.